Be interesting to see what happens with this video because I want to show you an old video by way of Dr. Anthony Fauci, everybody's favorite idiot or doctor, whatever you want to call the motherfucker. He has some interesting things to say about vaccines that someone rediscovered back in February of last year. Let's listen. He was talking to this reptile. Let's listen to what he said to the reptile here right now. Let's see what he said.
This would not be the first time, if it happened, that a vaccine that looked good in initial safety actually made people worse. There was the history of the respiratory syncytial virus vaccine in children, which paradoxically made the children worse. One of the HIV vaccines that we tested several years ago actually made individuals more likely to get infected. This would not be the first time.
This is kind of in line with, I believe it was Johnny Adidas was talking about this as well. And he had talked about specifically there was some like vaccines that were being built for like coronaviruses in cats. And they gave it to him and it looked all right. And then it didn't look all right. And the cats ended up faring worse than what they did had they not got it. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not suggesting that he is saying that, or he would say now that, you know, definitely considering what his handler is saying, that this is what's happening right now. We have a story that we're going to talk about regarding jabs. I'm not making that suggestion. What I want to highlight more so is the pivot, right? In that, yeah, there's something here that there's zero long-term data for. It just literally doesn't exist. Now, I would hope to God, considering that so many of you guys have been jabbed up, nothing happens and there's no issues associated with down the line. But in the event that does happen, it's not it wouldn't be new. Hell, even right now, I'm talking like 30, 40 years. It wasn't a vaccine, but it was something that was regularly used. I can't remember, what was it? I can't remember the name of the actual substance, but it was used as a pesticide all around the first people that were skeptical of it were fucking Africans. But it was something that was used all around like America. It was a regularly used pesticide. And it wasn't until like recently in the modern era where they found out that it could cause cancers, DDT. People are talking about it in the chat, right? And it was causing, it had these like cancer causing sort of agents. That was like decades after the fact that they found that out, you know? So, and this isn't the only one that's happened before. It wouldn't be new. It wouldn't be out of the ordinary. But my problem with it is the pivot, not only because they're acting like that just is completely off the board now because reasons. Now, again, I am not suggesting that there is going to be some catastrophic event where that happens down the line. I'm just saying you have no fucking idea. So when folks look at something that was just sped up and given in mass, and they say, you know what? I like to weigh my options here. If I don't get it, this is what the data's showing me is that I have a 99, if you're in like my health and age demographic, a relatively healthy person like mine, like I am, you have a 99% chance of, in terms of your survival rate. The IFR people in my age group is significantly low. We're talking about in the 0.0s, okay? That's not my opinion. That's data that is backed up by their handlers, and even the WHO has a bulletin that was put out that indicates that. So we're not talking about my individual opinion. So it's not irrational, and this is what these shillers, don't actually seem to understand. In that, considering what Fauci just said, which again, that's not anything preposterous what he said. It's like he's pivoted from that position, But that's not anything outrageous that he said. So considering that, and we know that this was kind of sped up, that we know that even in a traditional sense, considering what mRNA actually is, it's not even how a general traditional vaccine has historically even worked. It's not irrational for a person to say, you know what, I'm not going to take it, and I would, see what happens. It's simply not that deadly to me. And even in the sense of like this whole spread and all of that or lack thereof, we see what's going on with this Omicron stuff and people that have been fully vaccinated passing that stuff, catching it and passing that around. We also know that the CDC has said that, it doesn't prevent transmission. Again, Dr. Rochelle Walensky in August stated exactly that. So all that considered, it's not an irrational thing. And don't let people gaslight you into believing that you're being irrational. If you just say, considering this and outweighing this and even applying the history, kind of to what Fauci said, if this turned out to be something else, it would be new. It's happened before, and it's happened before. We know that has happened before. So why on earth wouldn't someone not take that into consideration? Okay? But it's the authoritarian left specifically, and I really do believe that it's because they think that this is punishing their political enemies. I think this is why they're so pro-big pharma out of nowhere. They think that it punishes their ideological opponents with the mandates and all of that. So they're more interested in doing that than they are actually saving lives or whatever dumb shit that they say in that regards. But it is a perfectly rational decision for someone to weigh what exists right now while also taking in consideration the history, as Fauci mentioned, and then coming out of that saying, you know what, it's not for me, it's not for my family, and I'm going to go about my business. You know what I'm saying? It's not irrational, but the problem is, it ain't even, this is not a pro-vaccination versus like anti-vaxxers. That's a false dichotomy. That's not what this is about at all. But they try to present it as such because they want to make it seem like you're being just completely out of your fucking mind because you decided to, wait it out. Or just weigh the options and say, and definitely when you consider the information coming out about natural immunity, some people have said, you know what, nah, I'm just not getting it. And that's okay. That doesn't mean they're being irrational. That doesn't mean they're not looking at data, because they're looking at the same data that's available to you. Maybe they came to a different conclusion than you did, but they're looking at the same data that you have access to, and they're analyzing it. That's all I'm saying. You just watched a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.